Hi there, it's Mick from Infinity here. I'm just going to quickly go through how you update your U-Home battery using one of our CANbox devices and the relevant software to do that. So I'll show you how that's done. There are two ways you can access the U-Home upgrade tools and software and firmware, and that is either by a web link that we've sent you in email, or when we send you out the CANbox cable, we will actually provide you with a USB stick which will have a SD card inside. Whether it's the SD card and USB stick or download link, what you will find is once you insert this into your computer or press download on the link, you will be faced with this page here. There's 4 folders: BMS monitor, bootloader, firmware, and USB CAN drive. The USB CAN drive is the first folder we want you to open. Inside there you'll see another subfolder called USB CAN. Double click on that, which will then open to 2 folders. Again, clicking on the top one that says driver_USB CAN, double click on that, which will then give you the driver that is required to install on your computer or laptop. Just simply double click on this and then you'll be presented with this window here. Simply click yes. The next window that will pop up will be like this. I'd like you to press next and then press install in the middle. That will successfully upload the driver that is required to operate our CANbox cables from your computer or laptop to the U-Home. Now you've successfully installed the driver software on your computer or laptop, what I'd like you to do now is take the provided blue cable that we've provided that has a USB end, take the CANbox that was also provided as well, and simply put these together, simply like that. The next step we recommend is disconnect the battery from any other batteries that are in the battery bank, so you have a standalone battery just like this in the video. What I'd like you to do is ensure that your SW3 address there is set to 1 and then turn the battery on. Now the battery's all turned on, what I'd like you to do is take the CANbox and to take the RJ45 end of the CANbox and put this into the middle port, which is labelled MS. Now that you've successfully set up your U-Home battery with our CANbox and relevant cables, and that you have plugged the CANbox into the battery and the other end into your PC or laptop, I'd like you to now come back to the file which you have just downloaded. Before we do any firmware updates, the first thing we would like you to do is to check what firmware you currently have on your battery or batteries. So what I'd like you to do is click on BMS monitor. So open this file here. Second option down is BMS monitor. I'd like you to select this, which will open the software for us to view the battery. Across the top here, I'd like you to select number 1 where it says choose BMU. So press the up button to select number 1. To the left of that, you'll see the word open. I'd like you to click this so it says close. Once it says that, you will notice that all the information about the battery starts coming through. The 3 headings across the top here, I'd like you to click on the middle one, which is configure parameters. On the subheadings underneath that, I'd like you to go across to hardware and stroke software version. On this page here, I'd like you to go down to where it says software version here, and to the right of that, select the drop down and select app. Once you have done this, I'd like you to hit the word read. This will now give you the firmware version that is currently on your battery. If it starts with GD305, that's great, we can get straight on with the updates. But if it does not state GD305 and has various other letters or numbers, we'd like you just to take a quick screenshot of that or a picture, email or WhatsApp across to us and contact us, and we will tell you which relevant firmware you must upload on this battery. And that's it. Now you've determined what firmware version is on your battery, we can now get on with the update. So close down the BMS monitor, press back, which will bring us back to our main 4 folders here. We now want you to click on bootloader. Once you open this, the 4th option down is BMS bootloader application. I'd like you to double click this, which will then present this window here. The first thing I want you to do is where it says product type under the word open, to the right of that, I'd like you to click this drop down and select GD305 4850/48100. Once you've done this, I'd like you to come down to target ID. Select number 1, and then I'd like you to go to select file. So by now you should know what the old firmware is on your battery. If it is the GD305 firmware, then select the GD305 file there. If it was anything different, by now you should have had confirmation from us at Infinity Innovations which firmware file you should be selecting from these two here. So now you know which firmware you need, simply click this one and press open. What I'd like you to do now is go up to the top where it says open and select this so it says closed. Once it's done this, hit the word download the bin. This will now start the firmware update on your battery. As you can see, when the firmware is happening, you will get a red fault light flashing and the green light flashing alongside it. This is just indicating that the firmware update is uploading. Once the update is finished, the red light will stop and the green light will go solid. What we like to do now is just wait for the battery to make a click noise or a clunk noise like that, which indicates that the firmware is now successfully uploaded to the battery. Once you've heard this noise, it is now safe to remove the CAN box cable and you can switch the battery off. And that's how you upgrade a U-Home battery.